The lobby of the luxury corporate building was spotless, polished like a mirror. Morning sunlight poured through tall glass windows, reflecting off the marble floors. Everything was calm, until a small girl, no older than 7, burst through the revolving doors, her white dress stained with dirt and tears streaming down her face. "Help! Please, my mom, she's hurt. They beat her," she cried, her voice echoing through the silent hall. The few people in the lobby froze. The receptionists looked up in shock. But it wasn't the security guard or the executives who moved first, it was the janitor. Before we continue this powerful story, don't forget to subscribe to Kindness in Action, where we share real and inspiring stories that remind us how compassion can change lives. If this story touches your heart, please give it a like, share it with your friends, and comment, "Kindness matters," below. Now, let's dive into what really happened that unforgettable day. Miguel had been working as a janitor in that building for 3 months. Every morning, he came in before sunrise, mopping floors, emptying trash, and keeping to himself. Most people barely noticed him. He was quiet, polite, and always wore a calm smile, but no one knew much about him. He wasn't just any janitor, though. Years ago, Miguel had been a decorated military doctor, a trauma surgeon who had saved countless soldiers' lives in the middle of war zones. But after losing his best friend in a mission gone wrong, he'd left the service. The memories were too heavy. He wanted peace, anonymity, and a chance to start over. That's how he ended up here, mop in hand, gray uniform, blending into the background. But that peaceful morning shattered when the little girl ran in, breathless and desperate. "Please, someone, help. My mom's outside. She's not moving," she cried, tugging at Miguel's sleeve. The receptionist looked terrified. One woman picked up the phone to call for security. But Miguel didn't hesitate. He dropped the mop instantly, his eyes sharpening with focus. "Where is she?" he asked firmly. The girl pointed toward the parking lot, tears streaking her cheeks. Without a word, Miguel sprinted through the lobby doors, his work boots thudding against the marble floor. Outside, near a black luxury SUV, a woman lay unconscious on the ground. Her clothes were torn, and there were bruises on her arms. 2 men in suits stood nearby, looking guilty and frightened. They had already called for an ambulance, or so they claimed. Miguel knelt beside her and checked her pulse. Faint, but still there. He gently tilted her head to open her airway. His movements were steady, precise, years of training kicking in without a second thought. "Miss, can you hear me?" he said softly, pressing on her wrist. The woman stirred weakly. The men tried to explain themselves, stammering something about a robbery gone wrong, but Miguel wasn't listening. He was in full medical mode. He tore off a piece of his cleaning rag to wipe blood from her forehead, then unbuttoned his shirt to create a bandage for a deep cut near her shoulder. "Sweetheart," he said to the little girl, who was clutching his arm, trembling. "What's your name?" "Emma," she whispered. "Okay, Emma, your mom's going to be okay. I need you to stay strong for her, all right?" Emma nodded through tears. Miguel turned to the crowd that had started to gather. "Someone call 911 right now and tell them she may have internal injuries," he said firmly. His calm authority made people listen immediately. Within minutes, sirens echoed in the distance. Miguel stayed by the woman's side, keeping pressure on her wounds, monitoring her breathing. When the paramedics arrived, they were surprised to see the janitor giving them a detailed medical report. "She's stable now," Miguel said, handing her over. "Possible concussion, some bruising, maybe cracked ribs. Keep her on oxygen." The lead paramedic blinked in shock. "Are you a doctor?" Miguel hesitated. "I used to be," he said quietly. Hours later, in the hospital waiting room, the little girl sat beside Miguel, still clutching his hand. "Thank you," she whispered. "You saved my mom." Miguel smiled gently. No, sweetheart. Your courage saved her. You ran for help when she needed it most. Just then, a tall man in a suit rushed in, Emma's father. He was the CEO of the company Miguel worked for. His face was pale with worry until he saw his daughter. Emma. Are you okay? Where's your mom? He asked frantically. Emma pointed toward the hospital room. The janitor saved her, Daddy. He knew what to do. The CEO turned to Miguel, his expression shifting from confusion to disbelief. You? You're the janitor from my building? Miguel nodded humbly. Yes, sir. I just did what anyone would do. But the CEO shook his head. Not anyone. You saved my wife's life. He learned that Miguel had once been a military doctor, though he'd never told anyone. The CEO was deeply moved. He offered Miguel a better position at the company, anything he wanted. But Miguel refused politely. Thank you, sir, he said, but I'm happy where I am. I just want to keep helping people in my own way. The CEO insisted on at least giving him recognition. A few days later, he called a company-wide meeting. The entire staff gathered